Imagine that it's year 2000. You are a Radiohead fan and just bought their new album called KidA. Their previous album, OK Computer, made them one of the biggest rock bands in the world, with songs like Paranoid Android being the peak at the time of what is called alt rock. So you finally play the new album and you hear this. Okay, that's different. But it's just an album opener, so maybe next songs will bring back their classic alt rock. So you keep listening. Second song. Third song. Fourth song. It is nothing like their previous records. You don't know how to feel about this change, like many people did at the time. When it released, critics couldn't really agree on if this album was a masterpiece or a total misstep. But why it sounds so different? After OK Computer was released, the band toured constantly for more than a year. They were all exhausted, especially Tom York, Radiohead's vocalist. He said that touring all the time put his mental state to a point he never wanted it to be. Radiohead was marked as the biggest rock band in the world, and Tom York wanted to strip this title down. But the band didn't know how to move on together. Many members considered splitting up. Guitarist Ed O'Brien wanted to remove the electronic effects of OK Computer and build another record like their 1995 The Bands. And then the band's vocalist composed the first track, everything in its right place. Other members loved it. Just listen Ed O'Brien himself.
And Tom did everything in its right place with Nigel, and it was like, wow. And that was the first thing, and the rest of us weren't involved with that, in the recording of that, and it was just like, well, that's beautiful.
Now when they found a new way for their music, there still is one problem. They have 3 guitarists in the band. How will they contribute into this sound? So they started learning some new instruments like different synths. Johnny Greenwood picked one of the oldest digital music devices on the Martin Note. This was something completely new for Radiohead fans, who in most cases heard the electronic music for the first time. And even after many years, these songs are still being listened by many every day. So what makes them so good? There are 2 possible answers. Let's start with the first one. There are 3 main pillars when composing songs: melody, lyrics, and rhythm. Every one of these can be a main one in music. Melody comes first in most of new and popular songs. When lyrics come first, it is most of the time to highlight writer's opinion. But KidA doesn't fit into these examples, because it is based on its rhythm. And it creates a perfect symbiotic relationship with a second reason why this album is so good and revolutionary. It is called the white noise. These silent sounds create a perfect environment for the main melody and rhythm to stand out.
But it is hidden on most tracks, rarely exposing itself for a listener. But when it does, it creates very cool eye-opening moments, like at the end of Idiotique.
Let's look at some more examples. The most noticeable one is in the title track. You can clearly hear these sampled voices flying around. They are destroying the main melody, but in the right way. Now listen to the third song, the national anthem. Catchy bassline with drums supporting it, but maybe you spotted the ambient noises behind. Without them, the sound would feel naked, only half done, without any emotion. And for ones who did not catch all the little secrets hidden behind the main melody, here is the same song, but neither bass or drums are present.
There are even songs made only out of these ambient sounds, like T Fingers. But now let's go to more complex musical stuff.
In a song How to Disappear Completely, we can hear uncomfortable strings hitting our ears. The whole song is composed in D major, but some of these notes are not in the key signature like A sharp, but it still fits to the sound perfectly. On KidA, we can often hear other complex musical stuff that is not really found in mainstream music, like sudden key changes and odd time signatures. Songs are mostly assembled in a way that fast and happy melodies are going after slow and depressing ones, and vice versa.
I know that gloomy next that I am showing indicates sadness of a song, but it kinda makes the job here. And the band obviously found out how to play these songs live, switching guitars for electronics many times every concert depending on a current song. And not on electronic instruments. While playing song National Anthem, Johnny Greenwood sometimes uses radio to match the atmosphere even at live gigs. KidA paved the way for future Radiohead records. By the use of new techniques to write music, ambience hidden behind melodies, or many other things that I listed earlier. And maybe band inspired themselves in the future by using similar elements that they already invented years ago. Something like the loud strings from How to Disappear Completely can be heard on the song Daydreaming from their newest record. Just listen. And in the song Sit Down Stand Up, we can hear synths in the background that are somewhat similar to ones in Idiotic. But it is kinda hard to draw comparisons, because the main similarities are coming from the comparable use of the hidden white noise. So, that was the journey of one of the best albums ever made. Revolutionary in its innovative use of electronic instruments and ingenious use of white noise. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would immensely appreciate you for subscribing. See ya.